Medium power variable optics, MPVOs. Typically they're going to have a magnification on the low side of about 2 power, and then on the top side 10, 12, 14x. Prior to this video, had you asked me, do I see a point in MPVOs? I likely would have said not really, not when LPVOs exist that have a true 1x magnification on the bottom side, they have 10 power on the top side, they have a small footprint, lightweight. They give you the ability to shoot up close quickly, but then magnify up to take those shots at distance. So then when Utah Airguns reached out and said, hey, we're launching this new Element Theos 2-10 MPVO. Is that something you'd like to run on the channel? Kind of put it through its paces and give us some feedback. I said, of course. Really, I want to understand what is the point of an MPVO, and then certainly bring you along for that journey. So if you're curious, what is the value of a medium power variable optic, then stick around because this video is for you. So questions I have, can I shoot small groups at 100 yards? How quickly and accurately can I engage targets at distance? How far can I accurately shoot, say, a 10 power MPVO? How does it perform in a match type setting, which we're going to look at in this video? So these are all things that I can't wait to share with you. So my plan for the video is to show you my first day on the range with this optic, shooting groups at 100 yards to see what we can do, positional shift with the MRGG. I've got a lot of questions around how this thing performs from prone, off of a tripod, off of bags, so I want to show you that. And then stretch out, shoot 1,000 yards and beyond to give you a look at that performance. Shoot some mock stages to prep for the Utah SPARC series. So the Utah SPARC series is a match that I just shot in central Utah. It's going to be the Scoped Precision AR competition. It's designed to shoot fast. It's designed for DMRs, gas guns, practical positions, practical targets. It's all speed-based. The faster you go, the better you perform. Every target you miss is going to add time. So ultimately, the winner had the fastest time throughout the match. And I tell you what, it was an absolute blast. If you're out west and you're wanting to put your gas gun through its paces in a DMR style match, make sure you're checking out Utah SPARC matches. I know they've got like 4 or 5 of them planned for 2026 in Utah, Idaho, and maybe other places if they can find the venues. So I'm going to show you a couple of different stages through that match. They're very practical so that you can see how this scope performs. You're going to be looking through the optic using my new Scope Mate camera. It's actually awesome. It has an onboard touchscreen so that you can kind of see and set that camera up with the onboard screen instead of having to Bluetooth it. So you're going to see right through the scope of what I'm seeing. And the things that I'm looking for: how does the reticle perform? How do the turrets perform? How does the parallax perform? So this optic actually has parallax on it. And how does the eye box feel? And then at the end of the video, we're going to wrap up with a summary of my experience. So what are we going to run for gear in the video? Optics on this rig, well, certainly that's going to be the new Element Theos 2-10. So Utah Airguns, they provided this optic for me. This is a pre-production unit that I could put through its paces to time with the introduction of this optic. So it is available now. If you're familiar with Element Optics, the Theos line is their top of the line. So this is their premium Japanese glass, very, very nice optic, and it is priced accordingly. Things about this optic: it's a very small footprint, so very short, very lightweight, 34mm tube. Power is 2-10, and I tell you what, it comes with a throw lever to make it very simple to adjust. Very, very soft and smooth to kind of run through that. It makes it quick and easy to adjust your power range. It is mill, so the reticle in it is a very clean mill-based reticle. Makes it simple to hold for elevation and windage, especially on larger targets. You'll see that throughout the match. It was very, very usable. And then if you want to dial, the turret on top, very audible and tactile clicks in it. And then the thing about the Theos, you can actually re-zero this turret with no tools. So you just unscrew the top, set your turret where you want it, tighten it back down, and boom, you have re-zeroed out the turret. The other thing about this optic, again, is the parallax. So in something like an LPVO, you're not going to have parallax like that. So this is really, really nice to be able to clean up that image. And then the final piece of gear that I want to mention here is going to be the Holosun. This is the 508T, I believe. It's mounted on a LaRue 34mm mount, RMR footprint. And this is going to allow me to shoot targets up close quickly. And you'll notice I put it on the left-hand side. So I just tip the rifle in and boom, it's in front of my left eye. Makes it very, very quick to engage targets up close. And the final piece, it is in a zero gravity mount. And I do want to touch on the mount because this is one thing I noticed about this optic. If you look at the body here in front of the turret, it's very, very short. So if you're trying to run something with a diving board, say Badger, a Spur, a Griffin mounts, they were all too large to fit in here. So the zero gravity is a great mount. Obviously it fits. It has one set of screws on top, makes it very easy to level and get it mounted and torqued properly. Very, very lightweight and very clean. Nothing to snag on, as you can see here on the left-hand side. Well, the rifle is going to be my Geissele 6.5 Creedmoor MRGG. 20-inch barrel. This is going to be a factory rifle. I do have a video out on this thing already. It got a ton of views and a ton of comments, and I tell you what, I'm having a blast shooting this rifle. So factory rifle from Geissele. Got several hundred rounds on it now. This thing is extremely accurate. It is, when I shoot that 144 SMK from Sierra, in a hand load out of it, it is sub MOA every single time. So when it comes to accuracy, this thing is amazingly accurate, very, very light recoil, and you'll see that in the footage throughout the match. So factory MRGG. It is going to be suppressed with a Texas Flood suppressor. So this Texas Flood from Fletcher Rifle Works is a titanium suppressor, very, very lightweight, very small size. And then on the front side, I have a vented end cap on it, so it's very low back pressure. So if you're in the market for a suppressor, you want something lightweight that's holding up very, very well, this Texas Flood is going to be a great can. I do have a code with them for 10% off, and that's going to be mullets if you find yourself interested. On the topic of suppressors, let me hop in here and shout out Silencer Shop. So Silencer Shop has come on board to support my channel, and I'm really excited about that because I'm a longtime customer. Their process of NFA paperwork is so simple. You can go to your local gun store, use their kiosk, enter your fingerprints, passport pictures, build your profile out, load it online. And when you do that one time, now you're able to remotely submit papers for NFA products. They have single shot truss, which ties a truss to every one of your NFA products. I love that. That's the route that I go. I tell you what, as a longtime user of Silencer Shop, I don't think there's an easier way of getting in the NFA game. Now in January, tax stamp goes away, $0. One of the cool things that Silencer Shop is doing right now, giving you the ability to purchase your NFA item now, hold it, and then submit it in January. So if you want to wait and submit it after the $200 goes away, you can do that through Silencer Shop. Or if you want to take advantage of the crazy fast wait times, which right now, I just recently had a suppressor approved right at about a week, you can purchase through Silencer Shop, use their process online, and capitalize on those crazy fast wait times. First up, we'll start at the 100-yard line. There's a handful of things that I want to test here, so let's chat through them. Curious how that 2 to 10 is going to perform with regards to group size. Am I able to shoot small groups on 10 power with that fine center dot? Make sure I'm zeroed, get an idea of velocity performance out of my ammunition. And then another one that I wanted to test here was actually point of impact shift in the Geissele MRGG. There's been a lot of talk about this online, so I decided to shoot this on video and show you my results. So first thing I did, cold bore shot here on the bottom center dot. And as you can see, that shot landed down there at about the 5 o'clock in the orange dot. So I've already shot and got this rifle zeroed and confirmed we're still good there with the cold bore. I then immediately loaded up and fired 5 rounds of the 144 SMK here on this left dot. And as you can see, 1 round popped out of the orange dot, but that full group measures 0.72 MOA. So sub MOA out of the gate. With this, I would say 10 power with that Element optic works great. That center dot is very, very fine, probably about half the size of that orange dot. And as you can see, I'm able to fire a sub MOA group. That's something I was a little bit nervous about and curious about. So glad to see accuracy capability is there. Then I swapped over and moved to my tripod. So as you saw, my bipod was out probably 2/3 of the length of the forend. I then moved to the tripod, which was about 1/3 to halfway out the forend. I went to a seated position. I was solid on my knees. I felt like I was as stable as I could be. So then I fired 5 rounds on this right-hand dot, which you can see landed here. Now group opened up. There's a little bit of movement in there. Certainly you get up off the ground like that, your groups are going to open. But 1.2 MOA is what these 5 rounds are. Not terrible and very usable for what that rifle is. The interesting thing here is the point of impact shift. So as you can see, my first 5 rounds prone were just maybe on the bottom half of the dot. So if we look at the bottom half of the dot here, we definitely had a shift. I was able to use the Ballistic-X app to get data for this. So assuming center of the dot is my aiming point, these 5 rounds on average landed 0.2 inches low. These 5 rounds landed 1.16 inches low. So subtract 0.2 out of 1.16 for the difference here, and you get 0.96 inches. Convert that over to mils, so divide it out by 0.36, and you get something like 2.6 tenths. So my shift from prone to tripod is roughly 1 inch, 1 MOA, and 2 to 3 tenths of a mil. So say I get into some positional shooting, maybe I'll bump plus 2 to 3 tenths onto my data to account for the slight shift that I'm seeing in the rifle. I've done this multiple times now, many times off camera. This is repeatable, it is consistent, so I am confident that what you're seeing here is representative of what my rifle is doing. Now with that, I updated my AB quantum map with this data right here, average velocity of 2538 on that 144 SMK load. And you can see my spread across all 11 rounds was 33.8 feet per second with an SD of 9.6. So really happy with that velocity performance out of my hand loads. With that, let's push out and shoot some distance to see how that 2 to 10 performs ahead of my match. What do you say we shoot some distance? So I just put up a full-size IPSC on the right and a 2/3 on the left. Just ranged them through the Vector X's at 1,070 yards. Now prior to moving back, they're at the 100-yard line. I did bump my zero left and up 1/10 just to perfect it here off of the bipod. Super simple with the Theos because you can actually zero out the turrets without tools. Twist off the top, set the cap where you want it, tighten the top back down. I have trued this bullet previously. I know it has a G7 BC of something like 0.280 to 0.285. AB Quantum is calling for 11.2 mils of elevation, which I'll dial on. Ooh, the top, snug that down a bit. Okay, there's 11.2 dialed. Let me turn on my SG pulse. Windage wise, I put in like an 8-mile-an-hour wind from the 10 o'clock. It's calling for 1.5 mils left, but let's just see what our wind flags are doing out there. So here it actually feels like it's kind of in my face. The wind flags feel like they're pushing at me, maybe a little bit right. So let's just go right. I don't think it's nearly as strong as I thought. Left, 0.5. Packed. Packed. Let's try the, okay, I actually can see that one of the impacts is elevation good. Let's go left, 0.7 on the 2/3. Impact on the left edge. Packed. Packed. How about that? A 2/3 IPSC at 1,070 with a 10 power optic. This thing is legit. I have the parallax adjusted all the way out to infinity. Let's try the full size double tap. I think one of those is off the left edge. Back to the 2/3 at 0.5. Impact. What a hammer, man. MPVO getting it done at 1,070. Next up, let's run a mock stage, something like you might see in a DMR match. So I've got the same two targets downrange, the full size and the 2/3. But now I've moved up off of these rocks, kind of a cool natural position. And what I want to do is put 2 rounds on the large IPSC and then 2 rounds on the 2/3, bipod rear bag, kind of a modified prone. Then I want to transition back and shoot off of this rock right here using this Coltac Arca bag. That one, I'm not really going to have a rear rest. I'm going to rest on my knee and same course of fire, 2 and 2. What I want to test is the point of impact shift. So off of the bipod to the bag, I'm going to dial up 2/10 just to get myself that slight correction needed that we saw at the 100-yard line. So with that, let's do it as fast as we can. Again, this will be kind of a mock stage for the match. Elevation at 660 yards is 4.9 mils of elevation, which I've dialed on for the bipod. And go. Back the power out just a bit. Parallax I've set to about 500. Wind seems to be pretty much in our face. I'm going to go straight up. Okay, right edge. Impact on the left edge, so let's go 0.5 right. Okay, there's my 2 and 2. Now I'll dial up another 2/10. And nice and steady here. Okay. There we go. You'll have to let me know what you saw in the downrange footage. Obviously the impacts are there. That felt pretty fast. Now let's move up and run another, say, mock stage that you might see in the DMR match, a little bit shorter range. This one might be more of the assaulter roll or assault sniper roll. Now with the help of Infinity targets, I've got a couple of their rubber targets out here at about 7 yards, so I can shoot those up close. Now I ran out of white paint, so I just painted the center A box with fresh white paint. I want to put 2 rounds in each of those, standing, and then transition to the tail of the four-wheeler here and engage the 2/3 IPSC on the left with 2 rounds, and then the 45% IPSC painted black with 2 rounds off of the four-wheeler. That's at 330 yards. So for 330 yards, my data is 1.5 mils. I dialed that on, but remember I had about a 0.2 shift for positional shooting, so I put on another 2/10. So I'm dialed up 1.7. In the Element, I'm going to roll my parallax back to about 300 yards, and I'm going to start on 3 power. The close range targets, I'm going to use this hollow sun right here. I'm just going to roll the rifle inboard just a little bit there so that I can see the reticle with my left eye for those close shots. So with that, let's give it a go. And go. Quite the offset there on that red dot. Okay, so I'm going to favor, look at those wind flags, I'm going to favor right edge. Off the right edge. There we go. So, works pretty well. The offset on the green dot or the red dot there was a bit much where I rolled it in. I'll have to practice some more of that, but as you can see, we shot that on 6 power, no problem. Before we transition to the match footage, I want to hop in here for an announcement I'm really excited to make. Since I started the channel, I've had requests from many of you to host long-range shooting classes or courses where you can come out and learn to shoot distance with me. Well, mark your calendars. November 15th and 16th, we're going to be doing just that at the Day Mountain Ranch in Preston, Idaho, about 2 hours from the Salt Lake City airport. The plan is, day 1, we're going to be on the flat range where we have over 100 pieces of steel and a mile of distance. We're going to make sure the fundamentals and the basics are squared away, instruct you on how to shoot maybe tripod in different positions, gather your data for accurate shots, basics of wind reading, and then on day 2, we're going to go up to the mountaintop where we're going to shoot in some epic natural terrain. So Day Mountain Ranch, they have massive canyons, so we can do high angle shooting. They have big winds blowing up through those canyons, so that you're going to learn to read wind and shoot in wind on those natural positions. They have ELR distances, 1,000 yards and beyond, from multiple different firing positions. So this is going to be an epic 2-day experience. And with the match fee, we're going to include 2 nights of lodging at Day Mountain Ranch. In one of their beautiful cabins, this is going to be 5-star type lodging. We're also going to include 2 lunches as well as a super nice dinner with the group on Saturday night. So I cannot wait to launch this course. There's going to be 3 instructors, small class size, so you're going to get a ton of individual attention. If you want to learn more or sign up, there's a couple of ways. Follow me on Instagram where we'll have full course information, which will be the flyer shown here, or go on Practice Score and search Western Practical Precision Rifle. That's going to be the name of the course. Again, it's November 15th and 16th. I hope to see you there. Let's dive into the footage from the Utah SPARC match. So the first stage here is called the Utah Cactus. We're going to put 1 impact on that green plate there from 9 different positions. So impact and then move. And that plate's at 402 yards. So as you can see through the scope, I'm able to see those misses. Not my best shooting here. A lot of second round impacts. I should have had a much faster time. I would have connected with first rounds, but as you can see, I'm able to connect and get on that plate. Some weird positions here. I got to drop down low. Still able to get in that eye box and see a beautiful image through that optic. And the next stage here is going to be tripods and totes, sponsored by Really Right Stuff. So on the clock, we have to set up a target, and from 3 positions, put 1 round on a plate at 494 yards. So this one, you can see that blue plate. It's pretty generous for height. So I connect with my first round there, transition to my next position, get in that eye box. As you can see, really clean reticle impact. Repeat that a 3rd time. And now I'm going to transition down to a closer plate. I have to brace the front of my rifle off of that red rope. And then I use the Really Right Stuff as a rear support. And I have to put 2 rounds on a circle at 240 yards here. Adjust my elevation there to get down to that closer shot. Here we go. Now this is what they call the token prone stage, sponsored by Thunder Beast Arms. So in this position, my first target here, I have to put 2 impacts, 276 yards. Now we transition up on top of that platform where I have to engage T2 at 378 with 2 impacts, and then T3 with 1 impact. So there's my 2. And T3 is going to be at 498 yards. So some windage misses there. And I connect. Now I transition down to another prone position. We're going to stretch the distance out a bit further. So I'm back on T3 at 498. I have a little bit of trouble here with some windage misses. What the heck? So I got to zoom up here so I can see what's going on, get a better hold on this plate. Impact. Now I'm going to transition out to a big rectangle at 682 yards. This is one of the furthest shots in the match. Looking for it. There it is. You can see that color pop in. I'm holding over here. Impact. This next stage is a blast. So move down to the logs, engage this close target at about 85 yards unsupported. Ooh. Impact. So I was dialed my elevation. I just held bottom edge of plate. Now I brace on the log, and here I'm going to engage the first target at 470 yards with 2 impacts.
Impact, yeah.
Position 2, I'm going to engage target 1 with 1 impact, and then target 2. So those are going to be at 470 and 434. Again, there's going to be some holding here, which this reticle works really well for.
Impact.
Checking my target there.
Impact.
Nice, we'll transition. You can see me looking at my data board there. 3rd position, we're going to engage T1 at 470 with 1 impact. Now T3 at 410 with 1 impact.
Impact.
Yeah? Now back to the close target. I'm gonna back down to 2 power,
Impact.
hold low and impact.
Nicely done. Have another good time like that.
Now this stage is a ton of fun. This one we're gonna move up and engage 2 targets out of multiple windows in this trailer house. Target 1 right there is a square.
Target 2.
Can I go up to this guy?
Yep. Correct.
Kind of hard to see down in that kind of sage. Target 1's at 364. Target 2 is a diamond. That's a 484. Now I transition. And we're going to work through this house in 4 positions. This one is just a ton of fun. It's a cool place to shoot.
That one's hard to find.
There's that plate.
Hey!
There we go. We'll get on glass pretty quick. Try to find this target.
Hit!
Oop, thought I got that one.
No?
No call. Hit!
Safe.
Oop, cameraman doesn't realize I'm coming through. And the final position here with a couple of impacts.
Hit! Hit!
So there you have it. A look at my first experience running an MPVO, putting it through its paces, the brand new Element Theos 2-10. I tell you what, I'm pretty impressed, and I do believe there is a place for MPVOs, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So if you want to learn more about the Element Theos 2-10, they are available now, and you can learn more by navigating to Utah Air Guns by using the link in my campsite bio down below. Anything you snag will provide me a small kickback that I will use to continue growing this channel. So I appreciate that level of support. Now, MPVOs, what's the value? Well, at 100 yards, we fired a group that was sub-MOA. We actually fired multiple sub-MOA groups. So the center dot in this reticle is amazing. It measures out to be about a ½ inch at the 100-yard line. So if you're looking to shoot small groups, this thing is able to do it. And I think part of that is the adjustable parallax. You won't find that on LPVOs. Typically, LPVOs are going to have a bigger center dot. So I believe the center dot in this reticle and the parallax really were the key to the accuracy that I saw there. The other thing I noticed about this optic throughout the match is how clean and fast the reticle is. So this reticle has ½ mil kind of increments for elevation and windage. Made it very simple to hold wind and or elevation throughout those stages. I think you saw that quite well through that camera footage showing this thing in action. So the reticle, big fan, whether you're holding it or dialing it. If you're dialing it, you know, these turrets are amazing. These Theos turrets might be my favorite on the market for their tactile feel and the ability to re-zero without tools. The next thing is going to be glass clarity and image, especially at distance. So if you've shot an LPVO out to any distance, you know 6, 8, maybe 1,000 yards, you can see, but the image isn't great. It always feels like it's a little bit out of focus, and I feel like that's probably because parallax is fixed much closer, say 110 yards. Well, this optic, as you saw in the video, we engaged 2 steel plates and went 9 for 10 over 1,000 yards. I was able to spot my impacts in the dirt, spot my impacts on the plate. The image through this glass was actually amazing. So the Japanese glass in this thing was actually epic. I'm a big fan of the image. And that might be one of the biggest things of this MPVO that I like. The next is going to be the eye box. So my ability to get behind the optic and quickly see through it clearly. You know, LPVOs typically they have a very tight eye box because of the small tube. Man, this thing was so simple to get behind it, especially in awkward positions and rapidly in that match. So kind of key wins for me would be clarity of the glass, eye box, the usable reticle, the magnification range. Now certainly in MPVO, I think you want to pair it with a red dot like this, but you know, you think about an LPVO, how often are you actually rolling it back to 1x and shooting? I bet most of you are also running a red dot offset on that. So those are the value items. For me, the one drawback of this optic is the very small body here in front of the turret. It made it hard to put it in a mount, but this zero gravity actually fit it quite perfectly. So where do I see this making sense? I see an MPVO making sense for the person that is primarily looking to set up a rifle to take those shots from 200 to 800 yards. The glass clarity and the ability to rapidly engage those targets comfortably without a tiny eye box, that's where an MPVO shines. So say you're trying to set up a Mark 12 or something like that, maybe a lightweight 14.5, 5.56 or a 6 arc, or even in this case, maybe a short 6.5. Something like this Element Theos 2-10 is actually an amazing tool. Now with that, you gotta let me know in the comments down below, what else do you wanna see me do with this optic? One idea I had is maybe an LPVO versus MPVO comparison. If that's something you find valuable, let me know. I'd love to get your ideas on what I include in that video. Maybe you wanna see me shoot this on other rifles, maybe 5.56, maybe other matches if you enjoyed the match content. Let me know in the comments down below. Finally, if you've made it this far, I've got to ask for your help to grow this channel. It's super simple. Like this video, commenting so that we can engage and chat about kind of what I saw. The most impactful is subscribe. If you hit that subscribe button, it lets me know you want to see more content like this, and it pumps my channel up in the algorithm. So appreciate each and every one of you that have taken the time to do that and consume my content. With that, I hope to see you in my next video.